Imagine the CIA walks into a bar, not as a customer, as the owner. This actually happened in San Francisco, in New York, for over 10 years. And the people sitting at those bars, drinking, laughing, living their normal lives, had absolutely no idea that the most powerful intelligence agency in the world was watching their every move from behind a one-way mirror. This is not MKUltra. This is what MKUltra became when it went out into the streets. The year is 1953. MKUltra has just been launched. CIA scientists are experimenting with LSD behind closed doors, on volunteers, on prisoners, on mental patients. But there's a problem. A laboratory is not the real world. A person who knows they're being watched behaves differently. The CIA needed to know what happens when a completely ordinary person living a completely ordinary life is secretly dosed with LSD. What do they say? What do they reveal? Can a mind be broken in public without anyone noticing? To find the answer, they created Operation Midnight Climax.
The man put in charge was George Hunter White, a former narcotics officer, a heavy drinker, a man who described his own work with chilling honesty. He later wrote in his personal diary, "Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, cheat, steal, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest?" This was the man the CIA trusted to run the operation. White rented apartments in San Francisco and New York. He decorated them to look like ordinary homes, paintings on the walls, furniture, a kitchen. Behind the walls were microphones. Behind the mirrors were cameras. And behind a one-way mirror in every room sat CIA agents with clipboards, watching. Then they hired women. Sex workers were paid by the CIA to bring men back to these apartments, to give them drinks. Drinks that had been laced with LSD, without the men's knowledge, without their consent. And then the agents watched what happened. Some men laughed uncontrollably, some wept, some became paranoid, terrified, convinced the walls were closing in. Some talked, said things they would never say sober. Some completely lost touch with reality. None of them knew what had been done to them. None of them were ever told. They walked out of those apartments the next morning, confused, shaken, sometimes unable to remember what had happened, and went back to their lives, their families, their jobs, never knowing they had been a CIA experiment. George White himself later admitted he frequently dosed people at parties, at bars, at gatherings where he was simply another guest. He found it entertaining. The CIA found it useful. Operation Midnight Climax ran for over 10 years, from 1953 to 1964, across multiple cities. An unknown number of people were affected, because most of the records were destroyed in 1973, when CIA Director Richard Helms ordered all MKUltra files burned. But George White had kept his personal diaries. And when those diaries were discovered, the world finally understood what had been happening in those apartments. No one who was dosed was ever compensated. Most never found out. The CIA operatives who ran the operation faced no criminal charges. George White died in 1975, 2 years before the Senate hearings that exposed everything. He never had to answer for what he did. Here is the part that is hardest to accept. Operation Midnight Climax was not, it was approved. It was monitored. Senior CIA officials knew it was happening and allowed it to continue for more than a decade. The United States government ran a program in which it secretly drugged its own citizens for entertainment and intelligence research, using women as instruments and innocent people as test subjects, in apartments decorated to look like homes, and called it national security. The next time you sit down for a drink in a bar, you will probably be fine. But somewhere in San Francisco,
Between 1953 and 1964, someone sat down for a drink too, and they were never the same again. They just never knew why.